Everyone gather, come and hear. You must listen to her sing. The voice calling out was loud, excited, almost urgent. People turned their heads. Some stood, others leaned forward in their seats. On the stage stood a young woman, her hands slightly shaking, her chest rising and falling as she tried to steady her breath. Her name was Amara. But long before this moment, long before the lights, the crowd, and the music, Amara had learned what it felt like to be invisible. Amara was the firstborn in her family. From the beginning, expectations followed her like a shadow. She was supposed to be the example, the one who got it right, the one others would look up to. But life didn't unfold that way. School was hard for her. No matter how much she tried, she never seemed to do well enough. Teachers shook their heads, relatives whispered, her parents grew tired of defending her. Then her younger sister rose. Her sister was everything Amara was not: successful, admired, wealthy. People praised her openly. Neighbors mentioned her name with pride. Her parents spoke of her with relief. Amara felt the weight of their disappointment quietly, like a constant pressure on her chest. Conversations stopped when she entered a room. Compliments became rare. Smiles changed to polite nods. She began to understand that, in her family and beyond, she was slowly becoming invisible. There was one place where Amara could breathe: her voice. It wasn't loud or flashy, but it existed, stubbornly, even when everything else in her life seemed to reject her. She sang quietly, softly, in moments when no one was listening, while walking alone, while folding laundry, or just sitting in her room trying to make sense of the world. Singing was the only thing that felt certain. It carried her through the days when words failed her. But people didn't understand that. Friends who once laughed with her began to pull away. Compliments became jokes. Jokes became whispers. Whispers became silence. Soon she could feel it, the subtle exclusion, the quiet conversation stopping when she walked by, the eyes that lingered with envy, even at home. The pressure was constant. Her parents reminded her daily that she was still under their roof, that time was passing, that she should marry, that her singing hobby would never sustain her. They spoke as though her future had already been decided, and it did not include music. Amara didn't fight them. She couldn't. Fighting would only make the house heavier. So she waited, quietly, patiently, faithfully. She prayed in her own way, whispered small words to God when no one else was listening, believing that her voice, her one true gift, meant something, even if nobody else saw it. Months passed, almost like years. Then, one day, news broke across town. A singing event, open to anyone. No connections, no family prestige, just talent and courage. Her heart leapt. This was her chance. She told her parents. They dismissed her, told her not to embarrass herself, and said she was too late. She told her friends. They smiled and promised to take her. Their words felt safe, convincing, but underneath, something was off. On the morning of the event, Amara prepared carefully, not for anyone else, but for herself. She chose her clothes slowly, combed her hair neatly, and paused to pray quietly, steadying her racing thoughts. She met her friends at the agreed spot. At first, they walked together, talking, laughing, pretending everything was normal. Then they led her down a narrow, quiet road, away from the main street. Before she could ask a question, hands shoved her. She fell hard. Pain shot through her arms and legs. Her head spun. She cried out, but there was no one to hear her, just silence and the fading footsteps of the people she trusted most. They had left her. Amara lay there for a moment, shock and hurt mingling. She could feel tears running down her face, but she didn't scream or curse. Her mind fixed on one thing: the event. She whispered, almost to herself, God, help me. And then help came. Men passing by heard her faint cries. They stopped, looked down, and found her lying there, bruised and shaking. They asked her what happened. She didn't explain the betrayal. She only asked one thing: help her get to the event. Moved by her determination, they lifted her up, helped her clean up, and guided her back to the city. Slowly, carefully, step by step, she arrived, late, bruised, shaken, but not broken. She registered, signed in, and waited. Her name was called last. When she stepped onto the stage, her friends sitting comfortably in the crowd froze. Shock passed over their faces. Their plan had failed. Amara closed her eyes. She did not sing to prove them wrong. She did not sing for revenge. She sang because she had survived, because this was the moment she had carried in her heart through every whispered insult, every disappointed look, every betrayal. Her voice filled the room. It rose slowly, trembling at first, then stronger, purer. Every note carried her pain, her hope, her faith. The audience leaned in. The hall went silent. And when she finished, applause erupted. Loud, overwhelming. Tears ran down her face. She whispered quietly, "Thank you, not for the attention, but for reaching the place she had prayed to reach for so long." Her friends stepped forward slowly, heads down. "Amara, we're so sorry," one said. Amara looked at them, feeling the old hurt rise for a moment, but she took a deep breath, and in that quiet pause, she felt it the strength God had given her through every fall, every lonely night, every betrayal. "It's okay," she said softly. "I know why I made it this far. He's been with me the whole time. That's why I can forgive you." Her friends blinked, stunned. One reached out, voice trembling. "We'll never hurt you like that again." Amara smiled gently. "I know. Just take care of each other." They hugged her, and in that moment she felt lighter, as if a weight had lifted. Quietly, almost to herself, she whispered, "Thank you, Lord, for keeping me safe through all of this." When her name was called for the awards, her heart raced. She walked forward steadily, head held high. The applause, the cameras, the bright lights, they didn't shake her. She focused on the moment she had been waiting for all her life, and the calm she felt inside reminded her of who had brought her this far. The award was placed in her hands. She held it quietly, letting it sink in. A small smile curved her lips. No words were needed, she knew it wasn't by her strength alone. The days that followed were exhausting. Rehearsals ran long, meetings piled up, nerves threatened before performances. But each time doubt crept in, she paused, breathed, and remembered. The same God who had carried her through betrayal, pain, and fear was still there. That quiet presence guided her steps, steadying her, giving her the courage to keep moving forward. Her songs began touching people far beyond what she had imagined. Letters and messages poured in, people saying her music lifted them, inspired them, or simply made them smile. Each note carried the story of her struggles and the quiet hand that had helped her through them. Her parents watched cautiously at first, then slowly understood her strength. One evening, they approached her. "Forgive us, Amara. We didn't see. We didn't understand." She hugged them softly, letting her calm presence speak. Quietly, she thought, "He guided me to this moment, and I can show love because of him." Her career grew steadily. Each performance, each small stage, each new opportunity built her confidence. She faced challenges, but every step reminded her that she wasn't walking alone. God had been working behind the scenes all along, and now, in her quiet acknowledgments, she finally embraced that truth fully. Eventually, her family gathered not to argue, compete, or compare, but to celebrate. They laughed, hugged, and shared stories of how far they had come. Amara smiled softly, grateful for the journey. She had been invisible, rejected, and betrayed, but through it all, she had trusted him, kept going, and let his guidance lead her. Amara's story reminds us that life does not always unfold the way we expect. There are moments when people will hurt us, betray us, or doubt our abilities, even those we love most. There are days when it feels like doors are closing, like our dreams are too far away to reach. But her journey shows that when we wait on God and trust His guidance, even the deepest trials can become the stepping stones to our greatest triumphs. Forgiveness is not always easy. It may seem impossible to open our hearts to those who have caused us pain, yet Amara's life teaches us that forgiveness is not just for others, it is for ourselves. By choosing to forgive, we release the weight of anger, bitterness, and resentment. We allow God's love to fill the empty spaces that hurt once occupied. It is in that quiet surrender that strength is found, and the path forward becomes clear. Patience is another thread woven through her story. Waiting on God is not passive, it is trusting, persevering, and holding on to hope when circumstances seem bleak. Amara waited through rejection, disappointment, and betrayal. She kept going when her own strength felt insufficient, leaning on the quiet assurance that God was working behind the scenes, orchestrating each moment, guiding her steps, and preparing her for the right time. That waiting was not wasted. It was preparation for the triumph that awaited her. And triumph, true triumph, is not only measured by recognition or success, but by the way we allow God to shape us through our trials. Amara's rise was not just in fame or opportunity, it was in her courage to keep moving forward, in her refusal to be broken by envy or malice, in her choice to trust a higher plan even when everything around her seemed to fail. Her songs touched hearts because they carried the testimony of someone who had endured, waited, and trusted, and who had emerged stronger and wiser than before. Her story is a reminder that God's timing is perfect, His guidance unfailing, and His love ever present. Even in the darkest valleys, even when the road is lonely, He is working behind the scenes. When we forgive, when we wait patiently, and when we persevere in faith, we are opening ourselves to the fullness of the life He has promised. Just as Amara rose from betrayal to triumph, so too can we walk through every trial with courage, hope, and a heart that is anchored in Him.